Mike Tyson is the greatest heavyweight boxer of all times. He is the youngest boxer to win the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles at 20 years old. He is the undefeated champion of the World Heavyweight Championship for 9 times. But there is a dark side of him too. Throughout his childhood, he lived in high-crime neighborhoods. Frequent fights and crime are common occurrences. He was arrested 38 times by the age of 13. His first fight was with a bigger youth who had pulled the head off one of his pigeons. Although there are many things happened in his life, there is a certain things that inspired him to be what he is today. And today we'll talk about Mike Tyson's 10 rules for success. Rule 1. Be confident and challenge yourself.
Mike Tyson said in an inspirational short video, "I am scared to death. I am totally afraid. I am afraid of everything. I am afraid of losing. I am afraid of getting humiliated."
These are some of unusual words coming from a legendary champion, but he continues the sentence by saying, "But I am totally confident. The closer I get to the ring, the more confident I get." How was he able to be confident when he was scared to death? He learned this ability by affirming himself that he is the god once he gets to the ring, and nobody can beat me once I am inside, he says. Affirmations are a great way to boost confidence, but it is very hard to maintain it when in a losing position. How does he cope up with it? He says he already imagines himself getting beaten by his next match opponent, and it in turn inspires him to practice harder and harder. He calls himself the greatest fighter ever lived. And he did become. Rule 2. Have spirit to win and study success. It's not about the size of the guy opponent, it's about the spirit and competitiveness in our heart, he said in an interview. If a 4'2" guy has right spirit, he can fight 6'9" guy. If you wanna fight, you fight, he says. The spirit is very important to win at anything in life. If you don't have spirit, you could lose to a weaker opponent. Then he explains, knowing how to understand the opponent's weakness and tactics, let him develop better defenses than his strength. Then he explains about Muhammad Ali, about his superhuman level faster reflexes and defenses which he fearlessly uses every time. He uses them to exhaust and he defeats the opponent. Rule 3. Be driven by your flaws. The reason why I succeed is because I am driven by flaws. When he says driven by flaws, it means he always looks out of flaws that he can improve upon. People tend to be confident when they win a couple of challenges, but that confidence turns into overconfidence soon, if the individual doesn't look up for his own flaws. When people tell me I am the greatest, the best, I think of my demons. My flaws. This is really power way of thinking. There is always a gap to improve and accept no one is perfect, including ourselves. Rule 4. Market yourself and be real. After retirement, Tyson entered into the business world. He was asked about how he uses his skills in the business. He said this is a dangerous world and should take less risk as possible. His first fight was with a bigger youth who had pulled the head off one of Tyson's pigeons. Throughout his childhood, Tyson lived in and around high-crime neighborhoods. His circumstances made him to question what value the others bring to his life and vice versa. He says in business, you should know how to market yourself, and you should also know how the people who are going work with you fill up the seat. He says he never thinks himself as champion of the world that would make high head attitude and weaken to grow. He thinks himself as an entertainer and businessman. These statements seems contradictory to his other statements, but the context is different and the position he is in is also different. Rule 5. Master the mind. When we first started boxing training, we didn't talk about punching and moving head, we talk about the psychology of boxer, we talk about fears down to science, and it's all psychological. Boxing is 90% psychological and 10% physical. It is a psychological game, intimidation and being a tough guy. Boxing is 90% psychological and 10% physical. He explained how once he enters the ring, he never lets his eyes off the opponent. If the opponent moves his eyes for 1/10 of a second, he knew he got him. Rule 6. Ignore others' opinion. What other people think of me is not my business, and that is common sense. Mike Tyson. Rule 7. Find inner happiness. I wanted to change my life. I did not like the way I was living my life. I wanted better way of life. I don't want to be the guy who had it all outside and nothing inside. I realized life in general is an inside job. Many people believe if they get that one thing in life they will be happy. That might be a smartphone or a house. Once you get it, your mind searches for some other. It is never ending until you look beyond your imperfections, feel satisfied and grateful for what you have. Looking for happiness from outside is going to be disastrous. It is all inside job. Rule 8. Sacrifice. We live in a very entitled generation. My generation was about sacrifice your self-worth to success. He continues by saying, sometimes you want to be having fun accomplishing your goals, people give up on slightest struggle. If you don't sacrifice for what you want, you will never achieve it. Success depends on how much you are willing to sacrifice, how much you are willing to alter your everyday life for a particular goal. In general, it's all about sacrifice, say Mike Tyson. Rule 9. Love yourself and love what you do. The first step for finding the happiness is falling in love with yourself. Let the past suffering go. Tyson said, I learned about peace and happiness. If you are not doing it for emotion and happiness, then the outcome is going to be disastrous. Love what you are doing. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Life is about losing, learn to handle failures.
Tyson said in an interview, as we get older, we lose our hair, our teeth, mother, father, sister.
Ones who overcome what lost in life, willing to fight to at every bit of moment in life. In order to be great, you have to be appeared to be feared greatly as well. It's all about how good are you at handling at failures. I am good at handling failure. Failure is a part of life and one should accept it in order to not to fear it. Bravery is the audacity to be unhindered by failure and to walk with freedom, strength and hope in the face of things unknown. Rule 10. Most importantly, have fun. My favorite rule is number 2, have spirit to win and study success. What's your favorite rule? Write in the comments. Also, tell me whose rules for success you'd like to hear in the next video. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your attention. Good luck to everyone.